on, variety of shoes on, and also with the shoes off, so that you can feel into the earth too. But generally, you know, we do have shoes on. So, you know, be whatever. And maybe one class you have shoes on, the next class you take them off, however you want to do it. I'm going to keep my warm socks on because this room is a little bit chilly. So let's go ahead though and start in our mountain pose, where we're going to feel very balanced. We're going to feel very sturdy. We're going to stretch through our vertebral column by letting our sits bones really connect to the chair. And through that, in our breath, we're going to feel lengthening of this tonali, this crown of our head, seeking the energy of and the wisdom of that above us. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. And that's the other thing, that when we practice our balance, it's really good to have your eyes open and focus on one place. But it's also good to practice some of our movements when we're not trying to balance too much with your eyes closed, and just to get a sensation and feel of that movement without the distractions around you. And then when you really start to build balance, you can begin to blink those eyes closed for a few seconds and then open them up, but always with safety in mind, okay? A few more breaths here. Let's stretching into our lung capacity by letting that belly expand outward and bringing it back into yourself. Feel the chest rising, the ribs opening. Two more, please. Always your rhythm, always your speed. And then let your hands come back down and out. Fingers are just feeling their freedom here. The palms are feeling their freedom. Let's go ahead and lift. And this is where you pay attention to your body. Where does your shoulder say stop? And maybe one shoulder says stop here, and one says stop here, right? Because shoulders have different impingements, but lift to your best ability. Let's put it that way. I like that, Paula. Lengthen here. Keeping those arms wherever you found them, just let your body tilt over, like keeping presence of those sits bones and your feet grounded, but lengthening here, coming into the stretching part of this yoga practice with length, with breath. Lift yourself up on an in-breath and let yourself come over on your exhale. And keeping those knees, see how my knee wants to kind of go like that? I gotta bring it back. Gotta kind of work on that too, because they don't really want to stay always in alignment with our hips. Rise up, inhale. So that takes some strengthening there too. Let's open up our fingers really, really wide. Find strength in the palm of your hands. Notice as I pull my elbows down, keeping the elbows at about shoulder height, really opening up those fingers wide. Do you feel, by doing that, the strength coming into biceps, triceps, pectoral muscles? Now make big fists, squeeze, be superpower here, okay? Powerful pose here. And then flick those fingers open, nice and wide. Pull them together. Inhale, exhale. Let them go. Let's do a few more. Really squeeze here. Inhale. Release on your release. Two more. Can we do it? Go ahead, squeeze. Release when you can, and one. Una vez más, pulling in. Let your hands come down so that they are still shoulder height, their shoulder height with your elbow, okay? And from here, pull those shoulders back, squeeze into the shoulder blades and pull the shoulders down. They're gonna wanna hike up, pull them down, but try to keep the elbows up and your hands at that same height. Pull back a little bit more and then release, keeping the elbows at about shoulder height. Let's let our hands come forward. And now take one palm down, one palm out, lift, lengthen down and lengthen up. And then pull back on those arms and pull out with your heart, looking up. Bringing spine back in alignment. Let's take and shift those hands, one down, one up, and shift the palm. Okay. Let's do the same thing, really lengthening, opening up, pulling back and opening up through that heart space. Coming back into center. Let's go ahead and take both arms forward, shoulder height, palms both up. Bring them back out here. Lengthen. And now palms down, bend elbows down again. And let's just do this kind of goofy little freedom of the lower part of our arm, but our shoulders and our chest wall are still working. Good. And then find them back and let them come down. Exhale. Good. Let's take 4 circles with our shoulders and breath. Okay, that's what makes this yogic. Using breath. Inhale. Go back and down. Exhale. 2 more times. And we'll take 4 times going back. So that ESL that you're doing, Paula, it reminds me of my daughter was just a month old. Yeah, a month old. And I was working at a migrant farm. I'm releasing down. Let's go ahead and slide one hand down, one arm. So I would take her with me there. And the idea was to do ESL programming with the students, the children that were there. Come on up. And they loved on her so much, you know. They just would hold her, all those little kids. I can still remember some of their names, Belinda, and come on up. And they were so happy. They were so playful. We did a lot of games, you know. ESL, it's fun to take it into some games and some fun for kids, right? It's a lot of games and they were so free, but when I go to the schools that they were at, they were totally different, right? They just were feeling that kind of isolation, I guess, being at the school, rejection, maybe coming on down, and feeling like, you know, and then here, or go ahead into full eagle arms here, opening up again into the joint area. Lift up, bow forward to only the place that feels right for you. Some of you will bypass your head and heart, letting the head go lower. Some of you will stay up above the heart. Find what works for you, but bowing down and then lifting up, bringing those elbows up and those hands up. And this was all in Indiana. Exhale, a lot of migrant workers, migrant farming there, the tomato fields. And little did I know at that point, 40 years ago, let's release arms. My right was under my left. Which one did you have? And let's do the opposite here. Take the opposite arm under. So little did I know, and then bending here or here. when I found my birth family in how, because I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Go ahead and come forward. And I knew by a Mexican mother, who now I know, and met my family there. It's been a really kind of beautiful, fruitful thing. But that her husband was not my father. Her husband was a migrant worker. Exhale, release. And what more, my birth father, bring it into goddess, open heart. Bring yourself forward, take those forearms together, interlace, pull your elbows down and curl, tuck and down. Bring yourself up, my birth father, and bring those elbows up, who was just passing through Fort Wayne, Indiana. One more time down, he was a migrant worker. So it just is interesting to see, and then bring those hands out. Let them come down. How these cycles happen, right? And I don't know why I started telling you guys all that stuff about me, but anyways, it helped us pass through a few of our asanas here. All right, let's go ahead and get a little stretching into the legs before we start standing up. And go ahead and just release your legs, you know, a little bit farther than hips distance. Maybe if you have a mat down, mat's distance here. I'm gonna take my hands behind me on that chair. I'm gonna lean back with my back connected to the seat of the chair, because we haven't been so far. We've been seated upright away from the back of that chair. And from here, I'm gonna go ahead and bend into one knee, bring it up, extend, hold on, okay? Don't just sliding off that chair. Bring this one up, bend, and bring it down. And keep going. And so I'll keep telling my story. My daughter finished my graduate degree there in Indiana. Single parent, homework time each side. And I got a job here in Nuevo Mexico, teaching West Mesa High School, a lot of Spanish speaking students. Go ahead and lift yourself up, but keep your legs out there. So I was able to use a little bit of those techniques, but I didn't get certified in ESL too much later. Go ahead and bend into one knee, and let's take some circles there. Okay. Only going in that circumference or that circle, maybe they're small, maybe they're big, that feels good for you. Okay, let's go around in the other way. And then time passes, and my daughter goes to Longfellow Elementary, which, go ahead and extend, is a bilingual magnet school. Go ahead and bring the other leg up, because, you know, neither of us were raised in Spanish-speaking environments, because I was adopted and she was raised into my world of English-speaking. Let's go ahead and go around the other way. So she started gaining more there. And I guess I forgot one part of the story, that her father, her birth father, was from Mexico. So I'm going to bring your feet back in, hips distance, slide hands down. That's a whole other story. Bring your heart up. And we're still in connection, friendly, and angels connected with him as well. Not as much as I am, and I'm not even that much. But anyways, so then move to Chile. And that's the connection that Josephine and I have, because Josephine was we're doing cow and cat here, you guys. Josephine was what do you call those? Peace Corps, I believe, person that worked in Latin America and Chile. That's how she met her husband, James. How we stayed connected too with those little experiences that we had. So my Spanish got better and my daughter became bilingual. Now, at age 40, she's trilingual and works with a lot of Spanish-speaking people in the work that she does. So one thing leads to the other, right? And then I'm sure you can all go back through your history and see how one little thing that you did, direction that you made, affected who you are today. Let's do 2 more, getting into that stretching of our spine, opening up at the front side of our body and the back side. Good. All right, and before we stand, let's do a little bit more with our legs seated. I'm going to take this leg in, and I'll take this leg over, and I'm going to squeeze those legs together. All right, so we're working the legs. I'm going to flex into this upper foot. We're working all the way into our glutes if you're really truly squeezing, okay? If you want to help with that squeeze, take your hands, squeeze them as well. And you may just be feeling so powerful and so strong here. This builds muscle, just taking those kind of isometric squeezes and pulses into yourself. Exhale, relax. And then from here, so my right leg is over. You guys, I'm not sure which one you will put over the other, but my right one is over. Release arms up, come down to one more eagle here. Now we've got our legs wrapped 2. So my right leg's over, my right arm goes under, and it really doesn't matter. Just make sure that you do opposite. You can come here into this hug. You can come back here, but let's go ahead and lift. Inhale. Just come down to your knee. Exhale. And maybe you don't come down that far. That's okay. Inhale, lift. I'm going to do this 4 times total. You guys heard all of that just because Paula's here today. Go ahead and release, and her ESL student or that class got canceled. Go ahead and switch out those legs, arms down to begin with, flex into that foot, and maybe flex into your fists, squeezing muscle to bone. And this is also really good for our urogenital area, okay? Will help us to go ahead and maybe jump up and down on a trampoline and not feel like we're having to run to the bathroom, right? Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze everything in. Exhale. Whew. Release those arms. Let's lift on up. Inhale. So my left leg is over, so my left arm is going under, whichever, okay? And here, find yourself, whatever you are finding you in your eagle arms. Go ahead, lift up, keeping that foot flex just to have some more strengthening of my calf. Exhale. Want to have strong calves for that balancing. Want to have strong connection with feet to the ground or one foot to the ground. And I want to have strong knees and thighs and hips and core and really everything, right? We have a little saying in our yoga. I think we do one more. I'm not sure. We might have done 4 already. Is the tighter our bodies are, the lighter they can be. So in other words, we need to find strength, releasing arms. Exhale. Bring them up. Release your legs. Come on up. And exhale down. If you have those blocks, take them now. And let's do a little bit of strengthening of our hands and our arms with those blocks, okay? You can keep your legs together in this kind of internal rotation, or you can keep your feet at hips distance, okay? So I'm gonna hold on to those blocks and just lift up one shoulder, push down on the block, bring myself up, take one block down, squeezing all the time with my grip into that block. I don't know about you guys, but either they are tightening jars more than they used to, or I don't have the grip that I used to have to open up jars and things that once upon a time I could. So we gotta work into strengthening our fingers as well. Let's go ahead, flip our palms upward, lift up, squeezing those blocks overhead, maybe tapping them, and then keep squeezing those blocks. So we're just adding. It's not so much the weight of the block, it's our grip, okay, that's strengthening our arms. So when we don't have that extra weight, but we're using the grip in our hands, we're still penetrating into the muscles of our arms and our chest. But maybe because we're not lifting and jerking weights up and down, we're not getting into maybe too much in those joints. Okay. Let's do one more, squeezing, 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 lifting, lifting, lifting. Exhaling down and squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Whew. Let those blocks come down. We'll use them again. Let's take open and closed fingers as we come up and down on our feet. And maybe you want to come up and down a little bit here too. So onto the ball, foot, back down to the heel. Doing this a few times is a little bit cardio as well, especially the higher you take your arms, right? Anytime we lift our arms over our head, our heart has to work harder. You don't have to do that. You can be right here, okay? So whatever you want to do, maybe one up, one low. Few more. Getting ready to stand and strengthen and balance. Good. Let's go ahead. We're going to work into that standing by starting in a seated goddess pose and then stripping off my nice warm socks. And then we'll stand, okay? So go ahead and open up your knees, your feet, toes out, heels in. This opening will totally depend on your hip flexion, all right? So maybe we're really kind of closed here. That's all right. Find what is right for you. And let's just take a little bit of trip over on this side. I'm lifting up into the ball of my foot. I'm lifting off of my sits bone, and I'm going to go ahead and just lean over there. Maybe looking up, getting a stretch here before I come into that standing, but I'm also supporting the weight over here on the ball of my foot, so my calf has to engage. Come on up. Back onto the sits bone. Back flat on my foot there. Lift. Take the arm over. Take the sits bone up and come on over. So shifting body weight is a lot about that balance too, and having the energy to notice and to control one side of the body against the other, resisting and letting go, resisting and letting go. Come on up. Good. And let's go ahead and lift our arms. Inhale. Pull down into goddess. Exhale. Inhale, rising. Exhale, down. Two more seated. Good. This time, lift here. When you pull down, if you're ready, lean forward, lift off that chair, pull down into goddess squat here, right? And then lengthen your legs. That should feel good. Lengthen your arms. Come down to your depth, okay? Could be here, could be here, 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 wherever is right for you, okay? Inhale and exhale. We're going to do 4 more. I want you to close your eyes for these, okay? So we're really in a very balanced place. Not perfectly Like the easiest balance place to be, that would be in a mountain pose. And we're moving. But we can close our eyes and sense how our body's moving. One more time, exhale. Bring yourself up, flutter your eyes open, and hands come down. Good. So again, it was a little bit of a challenge just because we do have our feet apart. And when we do this, anytime, the more your toes come forward and parallel, the more you're going to find balance, okay? When we start to open up, that gets a little tippy. So make sure you don't over open up, okay? Because we don't all have to be ballerinas right now. Although I saw offered on a class, adult ballet class, I might take it. Used to take ballet and just be interested to do it again. So I'm gonna bring my feet back in so I'm not wobbling all over the place, okay? So this may be new to Paula, but I don't think it is to the others, but we're gonna do our Seaweed Asana. I would like you to try to close your eyes on that, but I want you to be safe. That's the first and foremost thing. Seaweed Asana, we lift our arms, inhale. We come it down into that squat. We take our right arm under our left, back into that opening and stretching into our joints. Seaweed Asana. We let ourselves float. Maybe left and right. Maybe up and down. Maybe back and forth. You have your eyes closed, so we're not needing to do anything that anyone else is doing. But we're imagining in our mind's eye what it looks like to be a piece of seaweed floating freely. And we're taking our bodies in the way that feels right for us. And we're definitely shifting body weight, right? Come back into center. Open your eyes, lengthen your legs. My right arm was under, so I'm letting go. Rising up. Squatting down as my left arm comes under my right. Finding here, 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 or here. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Move in a way that feels right for you. No real structure here. You can release your arms if you want. You're tired of going into these evil arms. Release and let go if that's what feels right. Keep breathing though. And then let yourself come down and rise up. Open your eyes. Release those arms. Arms up. Take them down. You take your hands behind you here, interlace. You can keep your legs open or you can bring them together. We're going to press downward and let those shoulders stretch. Pull back for the chest muscle. Squeezing into the shoulder blades. Staying right here. Or if you want to challenge the balance a little bit, you let your hips come forward. You let your heart lift. You come into a bit of a back bend. I like to call it a heart opener. Then only if you're feeling like it, you can take your gaze up. Don't crunch into your neck. Just gently lift, bridge of the nose up. And then bring yourself back. Release hands. Let's go ahead and step those feet back in so that we find a mountain pose, okay? I want you to feel really, really grounded here. But let's see, before we ground, let's go ahead and move those knees, move those hips, left and right, or forward and back, or circle them. Maybe you move your arms. Maybe you move your chest. Let it go. Freestyle. There we go. Good. All right. Wanted you to do that because the next few things we're going to be doing are going to be pretty static. Okay. And what we're doing right now should not take a lot of balance. So I don't think you'll need the chair yet, but we are going to come back to that chair. So I want you to look down and I want to find my feet parallel. I want to stack ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, earlobes, pull my head back. Let those earlobes, if I had really long earrings, they'd be right down on my trapezius muscle. My heart lifts. I keep a slight bend in my knee, okay? Sherry, pull those muscles in around your knee. Pull the muscles in on right here, your quadriceps to your femur, okay? Keep your legs strong, but have a little bend still, okay? So don't hyperextend into those knees. Stand here and then close your eyes. And I want you to just feel into that olim, that magical energy that flows inside us and all around us. Movement. I call it the fifth element. And all of the elements move, right? Earth moves, wind moves, fire moves, and water moves. So feel that internal movement going on right now with your strong legs, your strong arms, your body well aligned. And then open your eyes. So relax into those knees a little bit. Exhale. Then inhale, straighten the legs, lift your arms forward. Exhale, bend into your knees gently. Take the arms back a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen, fingers pull forward. Exhale, bend into the knees. When you do you feel that there's more weight coming to your heels, less in your toes? In fact, my toes are lifted off the ground. You don't have to. But that just normally, for me, naturally happens when I bend into my knees. So we're prepping for chair pose. Okay? Very sturdy, stable, well-connected, grounded pose. Exhale. And we're getting strength into our legs, into our knees. All that energy coming from our legs, shooting downward. 2 more of these. Lift on my inhale. Exhale takes me back. Lifting up. And exhale, take your hands down, palms facing me, mine towards you. And then we're going to come in and out of chair pose. We're going to take chair in different arm positions, all right? There's the traditional Utkatasana with arms up. That's a little harder, and we'll do that too, but we're not going to just do that. We're going to bend into the knees, and we're going to take our palms out, right? Shoulders back, keeping our feet connected to the ground, but maybe not the toes, but are the 4 corners of your feet connected? Maybe a little lighter on the front than on the back. Maybe sitting down a little bit more, offering our arms forward, shoulders back, strengthening into those big muscles we need for balancing. Press into your feet, rise up, hands down, close your eyes, and stand in mountain and breathe. Maybe feeling your fingers tingling, that prana, that energy, that life force flushing in to all of the extremities of our body. And we're going to do that again. This time, we're going to bend into the knees and take our arms out, palms down. Keep trying to bring the shoulders back, shoulders squeezing in maybe a little bit. Bringing that whole torso back a bit so we get a little rounding in the spine. keeping knees, all the muscles in those knees nicely supporting the knees, letting the energy of our muscles pull into our bones. Feel the strengthening of our legs. Push out through your hands, out through your chest, and feel that in your arms. 2 more breaths here. I'm feeling it too. Press into your feet, rise up, arms come down. Close your eyes. Come into your inner sanctum there. Feeling your heart beat maybe a little bit faster. Your breath maybe wants to race away, bring it back. So we got 2 more rounds of this, okay? Just in holding the arms in 2 more different ways. All right, let's go ahead, bend into the knees. This time, take your hands out, but palms down. Open up those fingers. Before we were here, and we're just kind of letting ourselves receive. Now we really want to release, right? Releasing down into the earth, which has our back, all right? That earth is going to, when we fall, it helps to lift us back up. Maybe sitting down more towards that chair, fingers outstretched, shoulders and back pulling back. My toes are uplifted, but the 4 points of my feet are solidly connected. Push into my feet, lengthen legs. Whew. Take my arms down. Let my shoulders relax away from my ears because I'm going to do this. Let them come down. Close your eyes. Feel that nice little sway in your body. And then I want you to activate that sway a little bit more, letting yourself maybe come around in little circles. Still with eyes closed. If you're feeling safe, that's the most important thing. Maybe take and make little circles going around in the other. We're talking really little circles, you guys. Just letting energy kind of flow in that way. And then let's take the hips to one side, eyes closed, back to center. Take them over, bring them back. One more time each side. And then flutter eyes open. We've got 1 more. Now, we're going to go to the most challenging chair with the arms up. But please, you take it here, 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 or here. Any of the others, okay? Go ahead, bend into your knees. Arms lift to here, or you keep lifting them up. Maybe you want to come into this too, okay? Cactus arms. So, sitting down in my Utkatasana chair pose. Talk about strengthening lower body, upper body, everybody's body. Gaze can come up at an angle. You can activate your hands and fingers and try to forget about what's going on with your legs. And then press through your feet. Exhale down. And that's really the peak of the strengthening that we'll do today. But balance always takes strengthening too, right? And we're going to spend the last part of class working on our balance. We've stretched, we've strengthened. But in each of those, in a stretch, there is strengthening. In strengthening, there is stretching. In balancing, there is both. Good. And just walk it out, shake it out. And let's go ahead and take our chairs. And we've got the best place for this chair to be so that we can all be connected together here. We're going to go ahead and start, I think, first this way with the low part of the chair facing me. So yours will face you. And finding mountain pose here. And asking that chair to continue to support me, even though I'm going to take a little bit of challenge here with that. I'm going to go ahead and bend forward with a straight spine. Straight, straight, feel that stretching back there. Hands come to the chair, okay? So I'm in half lift here. So there's forward fold where our hands are down towards our feet, and then we half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. From here, let's take our hands to the outside of the chair, and I'm leaving one foot planted. Sorry, I hope you can hear me. The guys are doing the leaves outside, and they do that blowing machine. All right, so I've got my foot pointed here in the back. And I'm going to go ahead, flex into that foot, take it up, and maybe you don't come this high, you guys. Maybe it's here. Just find the length and the height that works for you. You can keep your gaze straight down. And we're just strengthening that leg. We have 3 points of contact right now, right? Hand, and foot. Not going to ask you to lift your foot off the ground, the other one, but only if you want, you can lift one arm up. Keep looking down, stretching from fingers to foot. But again, keep both hands planted if you're feeling safer that way. And hand down. And that was the same hand as my foot that's planted. If I lift the other hand, it's going to be more challenging. So if you want to try that, you can, but I'm moving my hand more to the center of the chair before I lift the opposite arm up. The same arm as the leg that's up is more challenging than lifting the hand and arm of the leg that's down on the ground. Take your hand back down, bend into that standing knee. Place your foot down on the ground. Bring your foot back up and walk it out. Feel that in your hips as you let that hip not just come forward with a bent knee, but take that knee in. Okay, kind of internally rotate it. And so you're really getting into some hip movement, some knee movement, Sherry, okay? So again, doing this mindfully. Any part of our body, you guys, that talks to us, it's talking to us for a reason, saying, pay attention to me. Pay attention to how you move me, and pay attention to making sure you do move me, right? Because we don't want to just forget that part of our body. Let's go and extend the opposite foot back. Make sure your hips stay well adjusted, and this may be enough for you guys right here. If you want, you can lift a bit. Maybe flex a point, and you can practice that a bit. Or you can lift to hip height, taking toes in, heel out to keep hips in alignment. Staying here and breathing into this strengthening that's going on here. If you want, same hand as leg that's down can reach forward. That's easier than taking the arm of the leg that's up forward. If you reached your hand up, take it on down. If you want to try the other one, I'm placing same hand as foot that's grounded to the center of the chair, because I need a balance point there that might balance me a little bit better. Very challenging here. Don't expect you guys to do this, but only try if you feel safe. Hand comes down, other hands here. Bend into your standing leg. Slowly place that other foot down. Bring it forward and walk it out. Let your heavy head hang. Let your hips be happy. Happy hips. Good. Rise up high on the balls of your feet. Bend into your knees just a little bit. Come on back. Down on your heels. High bend. That bend can be just a little, or you can take it a little bit deeper. You got the support right here, right? But I'm telling you, you're still strengthening those legs. One more time. Supported squats. And let the heels come down. All right, now we're going to go into, so that what we just did was kind of like a warrior 3 practice. We're going to come into a lunge. So one foot stays planted forward, the other comes back high on the ball of that back foot. Bend into your front knee. Right? So we've got bent knee, ankle in alignment. I'm high on the ball of that back foot. You guys, you can't quite see it, but that's where I am. Okay? Turning my shoulders, everything towards that chair. Taking my fingertips to the edge of the chair. Staying right here, maybe taking one hand to heart center, or one hand to hip, or one hand forward, out, or up. You choose, or keeping both hands planted, right? We're strengthening our legs and we're stretching the one back leg. Go ahead, let your hand come down. If you lifted, you can practice lifting the other one to various places. You can practice because it's really safe to close your eyes. See how your body shifts when you close your eyes. Take your hand down. Lengthen that front leg. Bring the other one back in a bit. Lengthen it. Both hips towards the chair. You're now in pyramid pose, supported by that chair. Go ahead, bend into your elbows if you like, and drop your head just a bit. Do you feel that stretch in the front leg? Bring yourself up. Exhale, bend into elbows. Take yourself up. Really good, you guys. Lots of lengthening there. Bend into that front knee again. Bring the other foot up. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of this. And before we do the other side, bend into both knees. Take hands up and reach them all the way up. Pull down into cactus. Open up into heart. Rise and shine. Exhale, hands down, forward folding into half lift here. And I'm sliding the opposite foot back, coming on the ball of that back foot, bending into my front knee, keeping my hips aligned to that chair. High, high, high in the ball of that back foot. Stretching back through your heel to feel that in your hip flexor, and strengthening and lengthening the back leg, strengthening the front. Staying right here, you guys. This is enough, okay? This is strengthening. Only playing with the movement of that one hand, if you like. Closing eyes, if you like. Playing with the other hand, if you want. Those of you that may have done and you feel comfortable doing a lunge with no hands, you can practice that, okay? Try to be light with your fingers. It's there, the chair's there to support you. And again, the tighter our body is to support us, the lighter the rest can be. All right, good. Let's go ahead and take, let's see, lengthen that front leg and bring the other one back straight, toes forward, hips forward. We're in our pyramid here. This is enough right here. I'm feeling it all the way back here and into this glute. You can certainly stay here, or you can begin to bend your elbows and just let your head drift down again. Stretching and letting go the back side of your spine. And then bringing yourself up. Let's take both legs back. Find a supported chair, down dog here. Find that beautiful stretch into the arms, the spine, the back of your legs. Down dog. It's our restorative place to go. And it's such a beautiful pose when we see our cats and our dogs doing that. They know what their spines need. High the balls of your feet and begin to walk your feet forward on those tippy toes. Bend into your knees slightly. Take one arm forward. Hand down, other arm up. Hand down, legs lengthen, arms lift. Inhale. Go down into cactus, open heart. Rise on it. Exhale down. Closing your eyes and standing in mountain pose. Feel your body's response to the last hour. Do you feel more open? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel balanced? Do you feel worse? Some of you might, but I hope not. I hope we're going to get back into our chairs. I hope you listen to your body and yourselves much more than you listen to me. Okay, I'm just, guiding here. I'm just sharing and creating kind of how as I go along. And that's, I'm hoping you guys guide yourselves as we go along, because you know which of these joints, yesterday I had a class, someone had wrist issues, someone had shoulder issues, someone had knee issues, somebody else had a whole body issue. And so it was really, really important for me to stress that for everybody and to give out those modifications as I was trying to do today too. But it's a little different when we're Zooming than if you guys are present, but it's still, that's why I depend on you a lot more to make sure that you listen to yourselves, okay? Hopefully you did. Take your seat and find your mountain pose. That means we're not up against the back of the chair. We're seated on our sits bones, maybe onto part of our glute, upper thigh. Feet are nicely grounded and everything in alignment. Nice long spine. And I'm telling you, what we did today really was a lot of opening for that spine. You need to maintain that on a daily basis. Not everything we did, but a lot of those spinal openings, cat and cow, that stretching on the chair into down dog, because then you won't lose height as much. It will help you to not have that squashing in of your vertebrae one on top of the other. So let our hands come down. Release on up, inhale. Exhale, hands in prayer. Bring them to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, float down. A little bit of arms salutation here. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, hands to heart center. Calming our system here with matching breath and movement. Inhale, lift. Exhale, open, expand, release and renew. Two more, your breath. On this last one, leave your hands right there in Anjali Mudra. The other day, we sang a little song about the light in my heart, this little light of mine. Today, I'm going to end with a little song that's about the cells in our body. So if you guys want to join, you're certainly welcome. But hopefully your cells and all that movement, that all lean is really stimulated. And all of that helps to release our toxins, helps to stimulate our lymphatic system, all of those good things. So here we go. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad. Every little cell is happy and well. One more time. Every little cell in my